Hey, how's it going? My name's Ashley Rose, but of course you can call me Ash. Welcome back. I am actually here with TNA star Leon Slater. Leon, how are you doing?
What's going on, Ash? I'm glad to be here. I'm very good this fine evening. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking. Thank you for, sitting down with me and taking the time. I really appreciate that.
Of course, of course. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, absolutely. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, I do know you have an X Division match coming up, I believe. It's not,
Yes, I do.
yeah. So how are you feeling about that? Are you excited? Tell me about that.
I am extremely excited. Not only because it's my first Ultimate X match, that's going to take place at Rebellion, but it's my second chance at the XDivision title, which is something ever since I got to TNA, even before I got to TNA, that I've had my eye on since I was a child, right? This is my second chance not only to win it, but to put my name in the history books and be the youngest ever XDivision champion in TNA history. So I'm very excited for Rebellion. I'm very excited for April 27th, because I truly believe that this is my time to put my name in the books.
Oh, absolutely. Well, now you debuted, what was it, 2019 originally?
Yes, yes. So like I
Wrestling in
debuted,
general.
yeah, 2019 was like my kind of not in front of friends and family debut. But I've been training since what year was that? I was 9 when I started training. So whatever 2013, 2014, like is when I started training. But my debut at a show where it wasn't just my mom and my grandma and my sister watching was 2019. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I had to double check. So I knew you started off pretty young. You
Mhm.
are, one of the youngest rising stars in TNA. And I always tell people, if they haven't checked you out, they need at least, watch TNA, give it a shot. Uh, Going back to, you are pretty young, which is phenomenal. You're phenomenal in the ring. What's been the biggest lesson you've learned so far when it comes to your career, just in the earlier stages? I know you've been training really young.
hmm so that's a difficult one because there's been so many lessons I have learned and I'm still learning. But I think the most important thing that I've learned in wrestling is to also have a real life. And I suppose this isn't like a typical like wrestling answer of what's the biggest thing that wrestling's taught you. But a wise man once told me, make sure your real life is cool as well, because when wrestling is not going so well, and it's not always going to go so well, you need to have a good balance to fall back on. And that's a piece of advice that I've really taken to heart. So when I'm at home in times like this during the week, when I'm not traveling and I'm not doing independence and I'm not on TNA, I'm trying my best to just keep my real life cool as well. So I'm very happy in life, whether that's wrestling going well or wrestling's not going so well. I'll know I'll always have whether that's my family, my girlfriend, my friends, other hobbies apart from wrestling, right? I think the most important thing that I've learned is to keep your career on one side. And don't get me wrong, I'm still all in on my career. I'm still training every day. I'm still trying my hardest to pursue all these goals, excuse me. But at the same time, on the other side, I'm pursuing things in my personal life too, which is keeping me happy on both sides, no matter how either way swings.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important to take time for yourself. You have to,
1000%.
yeah, because if not, at least in my experience, you'll burn out, you'll burn yourself out,
Yes.
or you'll overstress. Uh, you know, Music, movies, things like that. Taking time for yourself, hobbies, these actually fuel creativity. So,
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
so what is it
And
that
it's
you on your free time, if you don't mind me asking?
no, 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 of course, please. I was hoping you'd ask this question. So for me, in my free time, I love video games. I've been into video games since I was a child, and that's actually how I got into wrestling. As everyone does, my cousin grew out of wrestling, right? Like when he was, I don't know, 12, 13, 14. And I was lucky enough to get all his hand-me-downs, whether that was the action figures or most importantly, like the video games. I remember like SmackDown versus Raw 2008, I think was the first one he gave me. So like number one, that soundtrack is just drilled into my brain, and anytime I hear anything off that soundtrack, I go crazy. So yeah, video games is a huge thing for me. Um, and also just spending time, very generic answer, but spending time with my family, right? Like I do so much traveling. I'm in the States a lot now. when I'm not in the States, I'm up and down the country in the UK doing completing other objectives, to put it that way. So like during the week, I really just like to chill out and really just try and ground myself, whether that's video games, whether that's music as well. I'm quite passionate about, or whether that's just spending time with my family.
Hey, that's okay if you feel that's a generic answer. It's a very nice, it's humbling as well, and it's good to hear that you're not over stressing yourself out because man,
Yeah.
that's tough going from
Yeah,
one to another.
it's a lot. It's a lot. And I think for someone like myself as well, where like wrestling's kind of all I've ever known. Like again, I started training when I was 9, so like my whole teenage years, I wasn't really like going to house parties and drinking in fields as like a typical UK teenager does. Like I was at training on the weekend, you know what I mean? So I think like now I'm growing into more of a young adult. I think, like we said, right, it's very important to focus on that personal side and really keep myself grounded and focused.
Well, let's go back into what got you into wrestling. Who were your biggest influences coming up into as you were growing up, getting into the business?
Yeah.
Who influenced you to actually start training?
So, I don't know if it was one specific person that influenced me to start training, but my guys growing up were always the Hardys, Shelton Benjamin, and Rob Van Dam. They were my four guys. So I guess just the combined influence of them and seeing them, make the moment theirs, whether that was Jeff, Matt, and RVD with the crazy stunts off the ladders and the frog splashes through the tables and all the ECW stuff, or whether that was Shelton just busting out some crazy athletic stuff. I think that really inspired me, and just wrestling in general, right? Like I don't really remember a time in my life where wrestling wasn't what I was into. So I think for me, wrestling was always something I was going to get into. It was not a matter of if, it was just a matter of when. But growing up, those four guys, Matt, Jeff, RVD, and Shelton were huge influences on me as a kid.
Sean's so good. I feel that he doesn't. A
Incredible.
lot of people don't really mention him on influences, but he's incredible in the ring. He really is, and I'm glad
Yes.
to hear that someone's taking the time to be like, hey, Shelton Benjamin. He was the man. When he was
He
wrestling.
still is the man. He
I mean,
still is the
still
man. I
is.
was I'm like again, I've been very fortunate enough, like being this young into my career, to not only meet Shelton but get to work with him. I got to work with him in May last year, in the UK. So that's it's a memory I hold very, very close to my heart. And like you said, I really don't think he gets enough appreciation.
Uh, I'm glad to hear. Going back to one of your influences, the Hardys. I know. How was it teaming up with them in TNA? What was that feeling like? You had to have been excited when you found out.
So, so anyone that asks me this question, whether it's on an interview or at home, my answer is always the same. If I retired tomorrow, I would be completely okay with it because my dream has been achieved, right? Like the Hardys, like I said, like were my guys growing up. So not only to get to work with them, but to get to work with them in a company like TNA that I grew up watching, is it really is a dream come true, and I can't overstate that enough. And just being around Matt and Jeff and having the chance to work with them, even after the 6 man that we did, has been incredible. And on top of that, the fact that we have a service like TNA Plus, where I can just go on anytime I want and go and watch their old stuff in TNA, and especially watch the stuff that I've been doing with them in TNA, is very, very special. And it's this is the time in my career that I'm really trying to enjoy the moment now, because I realize it's not going to last forever. And I know I'll look fondly on this time one day. So I'm really just trying to enjoy every moment I get to spend, not only with the Hardys, but in my whole run right now.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of TNA Plus, everyone, check out TNA Plus. You can get TNA Plus events. You can also get some pay-per-views there, or all the pay-per-views, depending on what plan you select. You can do that by downloading the app. It's available on all streaming devices. And of course, we do have Unbreakable coming up, which
Yes, we do.
which is exciting. I'm excited for it. I love all the TNA Plus events. I've been to a few live TNA Plus events. I think it's a great balance between that and the main premiere event. So it gives us something to like really strive for, look forward to, especially
Absolutely.
we got, we have so many things coming up down the line after Rebellion. We've got Bound for Glory, which is one of our biggest events. And then, of course, we've got all of our Slammiversaries on there. Check it out. Check out the archive there. And of course, you can actually check out Leon there as well. Uh, Now that, we've talked about the great benefits of TNA Plus, of course, I'll have the QR code on the screen right here. Scan it. It'll take you on your phone directly. Uh, since you've been doing a lot of international wrestling, travel, of course, back to you, because this is your world. I'm just living in it right now. Short time. So I'm appreciative of it. Uh, as far as global wrestling, how does it shaped your identity as a wrestler? As far as what styles have you picked up? Because, we've got British strong style, we've got high flying styles, we've got lucha libre, we've got, we have Japanese strong style as well. I can go on. So tell me more about
Absolutely,
that.
absolutely. So I think my style is formed not only from the places I've been, but again, like going back to the influences that I've picked up. So I think like I think a lot of my work, you can pick apart my influences. Like, you can see the Shelton influence, you can see the Hardies, the RVD influence in what I'm doing. And I think also with that, like you mentioned, like getting the chance to travel around the world at this point in my career has really helped shaped me form my own style, whether that's the kind of British style that's almost been a bit lost, like the old world of sport style that's starting to have a bit of resurgence now. I've been picking bits of that up from my coach, Liam Slater. Whether that's the kind of American TV style, which is obviously I've been learning since I've been at TNA this past year, or whether that's like Mexican or Japanese style. I haven't been to Japan yet, but I've been fortunate enough to work a lot of Japanese talent, and getting to pick their brains on what they think and their psychology on wrestling has been extremely interesting. And I actually got the chance to go to Mexico, I think in 2023. Which is obviously a whole different beast from American and English styles. So to get to learn that style on top of everything that I've been learning has been a real blessing. So I'm just trying to soak in all of the sponges that I'm around. I'm trying to take a little bit from everyone, and really just craft the most complete style that I can.
Now, there is something I like to do is questions from the community, which is the TNA faithful. As
Sweet.
everyone that comes on here, I always ask, hey, y'all got any questions? And I pick a handful of them. Uh, Ayo, that's his handle. You'll recognize him. He tags everyone.
AO Productions, I know.
Yeah,
Yes, yes, yes.
he wants to know who you would like to square off with at NXT. Anyone you got your eye on?
Damn. This is a tough one. But it's also not so tough because I see all the talk online, and like I feel it myself too. I think the one that everybody wants to see, and probably the one that I'm most interested in too, outside of the championships, of course, would be Javon Evans. I think
Yeah.
we are very parallel right now in what we're doing. We're both 20 years old. I think he might be a little bit older than me. I think he turns 21 before me, but right now we're both 20 years old. We both, I feel like, carry a similar type of swagger, similar type of energy to us. And we're both taking our respective brands by storm right now. I know a lot of people tout him as the best young talent in the world. Um, I like to think a lot of people would put me in that same conversation. And again, like I'm sure that he thinks, and he believes that he is the best young talent in the world. And I believe that same thing about myself. And I think that's the beauty of this TNA NXT partnership. We get to see these parallel careers meet in one place, whether that's on our side or on their side, right? So I think the first one to check off for me would definitely be Javon, to see who the best young wrestler in the world really is.
I can see that. I think that would be a fan favorite match. It'll be an epic showdown, that's for sure. I got one more
Absolutely.
question. This from Javon. He wants to know which championship you are eyeing on, besides, X Division. Uh,
Mhm.
any other particular one you have your eye on?
So for me, outside of the X division, and of course I'm laser focused in on that right now, is the TNA World Championship. And again, I understand I'm still on my way up, right? I haven't yet reached the X division, but I strongly believe that I will reach that, whether that's this year, whether that's next year. And I do also strongly believe that before before everything's said and done, I will be TNA World Champion. Like we said, I think the more I get to travel, the more I can mature, the more I can take bits and pieces from everyone that I'm learning from. I feel like I can become that complete package that can really put TNA on my back. And I'm looking forward to doing that one day because TNA has put so much faith in me. Um, in my career so far, I would love to be able to be the guy that says, I am the TNA World Champion. I am TNA. So obviously that's a huge goal for me. And obviously I don't want to almost limit myself to TNA like we were just saying with the NXT partnership. Like I've got my eyes on the North American title. I've got my eyes on the NXT title. If I can find the right partner, I'd have my eyes on the NXT tag titles and the TNA tag titles. So the boy wants all the gold. My goal right now is the X division. But I think, like I said, after the X Division's out the way, after I've become the greatest X Division champion, my goal would be set on the world title for sure.
Absolutely. Well, before I let you go, I got one last question. Anything you want to say particularly to TNA faithful or your fans that have been supporting you for so long?
Yes, I do. I really do. TNA faithful and TNA fans, people that have been supporting me these past couple months. I can't thank you enough. You have all changed my life. I went from debuting on in a random X-Division scramble last year to going to random explosion matches, which again helped me cut my teeth. I'm very, very appreciative and very, very grateful for the time that I've had in TNA so far. But it's been your guys' support that have put me in the position that I am now. I wouldn't have been in the Sacrifice main event if you guys weren't getting more and more behind me every week. I wouldn't be wrestling Nick Nemeth in the main event of TNA Impact last week. If you guys hadn't got behind me. So I can't thank you enough. You've changed my life and you continue to change my life. And let's keep this boat rocking. Let's keep this rocket ship flying, baby.
All right. Well, thank you again for sitting down with me and taking the time out of your schedule. I,
Thank you, Ash. Thank you for having me.
oh, absolutely. And, once again, everyone out there, whether you're watching it daytime, nighttime, goodbye, good night, and of course, have a good day, have a good night. Thank you again.
Peace.